So congratulations. Either you're getting a new iPhone or you've been using it for some time and you're starting to think to yourself, wow, this thing is great. Now, just like any other piece of tech, this phone needs to be properly maintained to ensure its longevity because there's a lot this thing can do. And oh, by the way, I've covered some of that in a previous video, but today I'm going to go over some tips on getting the best performance out of your iPhone. So, let's jump right into it. My name is Kevin, and this is The Serious Man. Turning off location tracking is a great way to save battery life on your iPhone, and I'm going to walk you through on how to do that. Open your settings and scroll down to privacy, then select location services. Or then you can scroll until you see the option for system services. Once inside, look for networking and wireless. Turning this off on newer iPhones with a U1 chip disables the ultra wideband, and for all other devices, it'll prevent your phone from being tracked. Your Bluetooth and Wi-Fi connections may see an impact too, as they won't use location services to enhance the performance, but you won't see their connections drop entirely. With this setting off, neither your apps or the operating system will be able to use your location, which is great, as using that in the background not only takes up processing power, but can adversely affect your phone's battery life. Now let's talk about your phone's RAM and how using too much of this affects its ability to perform. Now, for those that don't know, your phone comes with two forms of memory performance. The first is known as its base storage, which comes ranging from 128 to 512 gigs of memory, and that is used for storing apps, photos, music, system updates, etc. The RAM, however, is memory your phone uses to run those apps and other functions it needs on a day-to-day basis. We can see an app's size and the data the app contains by going to Settings, then General, and lastly, iPhone Storage. From here, you'll see a bar showing your iPhone storage capacity, and below are all of your installed apps. The list is descending by what apps are the largest, and when we tap on an app, we can see its size and how much secondary data that app contains. This data is unique to each app, as it could contain things such as downloaded maps for video games and add-ons or cached files for others. This is the data that is using your phone's base storage that I mentioned before. Open apps use your phone's RAM, and either a double click of the home button or swipe up and slightly right will open the app switcher, showing you all of your open apps. You can scroll either to the left or the right to view what apps are open, and these apps were stored inside of the device's RAM. Tapping on one of those apps will open that app, and then it will resume whatever function that you were doing inside of it before you place it inside of the app switcher RAM. We can clear RAM completely one of two ways depending on your device. If your phone has a physical home button, you'll need to press and hold the power button until you see the slider to power it off. Once that appears, release the power button and hold down your home button. Hold that in until you either return to the home screen or you're asked to put in your password. The RAM is now reset, and if your phone was running slow before, you should see a bump in its performance. The apps you had stored in the RAM will still show on your app switcher, and we can test it being cleared by tapping on any of those apps. If you see the app load from scratch, you will know that you successfully cleared it from your device's RAM. Now let's go over how to clear the RAM from the iPhones that don't have physical home buttons, and we'll do this from the help of Assistant Touch feature. Open your settings and go down to Accessibility. Look for Touch and then turn on Assistive Touch. Assistive Touch adds a virtual button that you can use as shortcuts to perform actions on your iPhone. To start the RAM clearing process, we'll need to press the volume up, then volume down, and hold and press on the power button until the slide to power off appears. Then we'll press on Assistive Touch, find Home, and hold that down like we mentioned before. Your phone will either return to the home screen or ask for your password. We can test apps being cleared from the RAM by opening the app switcher, selecting an app, and if it reloads itself from the beginning, we'll know the app was successfully cleared and the RAM was cleared as well. When an app is opened, it uses your device's RAM to perform its functions, and in this segment, we'll talk about how apps can use data even when they're not actively opened. Each time you open an app, iOS will place that app in its RAM for it to be ready for use when you want it. If the app hasn't been opened, your system will load the app from scratch, which uses slightly more RAM and data to open that app than it would to keep it open if you're actually using it. Certain apps have the access to pull in data, whether they're open or not, and provide you with up-to-date information when you open them. This feature is known as background app refresh, and I'm going to show you how to turn it off. We'll need to open the settings and go to General. Under General, tap on Background App Refresh. You'll see a list of all the apps that are using this feature. And from tapping on the slider next to them, you can turn access on or off. We can also change how the iPhone uses background app refresh. Tapping on the option itself will allow us to choose whether the phone updates apps on both Wi-Fi and cellular data, updates only on Wi-Fi, or don't use background app refresh at all. With the setting turned off, you can see the apps have all been blocked from refreshing on their own. Turning the setting back on restores the app's ability to update. Background app refresh is one of the main culprits in draining your battery, even when you're not using your phone. I highly recommend checking this setting and adjusting it so your phone can last longer and perform at its best. Last, we're going to talk a little about the benefits of using dark mode, which if you haven't heard of before, this changes the appearance of your stock apps and third-party apps that have it enabled. To turn this on, we're again going to open the settings and look for display and brightness, where you'll then see two options for light and dark. Your device will have light on by default, so tapping on dark is all you need to do to enable your phone's dark mode. Dark mode is great for a lot of reasons. The blacked out UI makes using your phone at night a lot easier on your eyes. Its reduced brightness helps your phone's display last longer, which too saves battery life. And for devices with an OLED display, dark mode turns off more pixels to give your UI that dark appearance. This too will help battery life as well as your phone's overall performance. And there you have it. There are dozens of ways to get the best out of your iPhone or iPad. I did a separate video on some of my favorite hidden features in iOS, so I'll link that below and be sure to check it out when you get a chance. Until then, thanks for watching. Everybody be safe. Peace.